In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to bring in the file that we created from Canva in the first video. And what I did was just saved it from the first video. I saved it as a PNG, and so I'm just going to bring it up. I'm in Silhouette. That's just my preference. I don't know a whole lot about Cricut because I've always just used Silhouette. I'm assuming that it's going to work similar, so we're just going to do it this way, and then y'all can adapt however you need to as far as working in the Cricut. But what I did, just pulled it in here from my computer, and we're going to resize it, and I'll show you the easy way to do this. Is just click it, and then up here in the top we're going to change the width to 12 inches and the height to 12 inches, and it makes it a little bit easier to work with because now it's on our mat, so to speak. And what we can do is it has, zoom in, it looks like a red outline, so we're going to change all of that to black. So up here, just going to choose black as my lines. It changed it a bit, and it's saved all together. Now this is how I do it. I'm sure it's probably a little bit different. I don't know that. I'm not a professional, but this is what I do. Over here on the toolbar, we're going to open up the trace window. And so we're going to trace all of our Christmas trees. And we're going to hit trace. And then we're going to move what we don't want. This is what we created, and we made our file here, so we can actually click on that and delete it. So what we made is gone, and what we have is the new version that we can work with. And I tell you what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to go ahead and change this to a 12 by, I believe it was 5.5. But we want to turn off the mat. Okay. And then we can scoot this over here. And what I want to do is I want to take these apart. So we're going to release the compound path, and that's going to make a whole bunch of pieces and parts, because if you move it, you'll see that it looks like bats. Um, Squirrel. So what we want to do now that we've taken all these apart, all the pieces from each tree now are their own individual pieces. So we're going to group it. We're just going to click and drag, and then we can make that a compound path. And that just takes those pieces and parts, puts them back together, and then we're going to do that to each one of these. And I right click, make a compound path, and then pull it up, and then we'll do this one. Same thing, right click, make a compound path, and then this one, you just need to make sure like these are not, they didn't get selected, so we can just click them and that will select. We're going to make that a compound path. Okay, and then that is all together, and we're going to do this one the same way. And that one has a whole lot of little individual dots, and we want to make sure we get them all. Okay, and then the last one, and make that a compound path. Okay, so now we've got our trees up here, and what we want to do is just line them up and make them, y'all may be able to hear my cat. He just came in and he is loud. This may look a little bit different than the one that we did yesterday. I'm doing these in two parts, and I don't remember if this was the one that we did or if it was different. So we really don't want these together because they look similar, and these look a little bit similar, so let's just rearrange. He just came in and he's hungry. He thinks that I should serve him, and he meows so loud. So I know he probably can be heard. Okay. When we get them where we like them, and they're all They don't have to be perfect, but I'm going to turn on my crosshairs. Let's see if I can remember how to do that. Right here. Okay, we'll line this up and see. Um, they're a little bit different. Some of them are a little bit taller. This one can be stretched. Those crosshairs are awesome. It helps me so much to line everything up pretty close. It doesn't have to be perfect, but we want them to be somewhat the same. Let's go ahead and stretch all of these out just a tad bit, and then we'll check it. This one's still a little bit too big. Okay, I think that's good. So now what we want to do is select all of them. So click and drag, and that's going to put all of them in a group. And then what we want to do is let's just go ahead and make all of those a compound path. And now we're ready to start working on our our map. Now you can hear my dog. We live in a zoo. Okay. When I make signs, I start out with the size of the area that I want to work on. So this would be the background that my sign would be. And you can see that in the examples in the pictures that I sent to Fawn. It shows how that I've made my sign completely from Canva to Silhouette to the completed product. And this is how I did it. It looks a little bit different, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be the exact same thing. It just gives you the idea of what I did to start with. And so what we want to do now, we want to give all these black lines, and then let's fill them in. Okay. And so now we have our artwork for our what we can print. And also, if it's too big to print, but you want to stretch it out and make a long sign, just cut it in half, splice it, and then burn your image in two different pieces, and then tape them together, and you can make a sign as long as you want. But we're just going to work on a small one for right now. And I have some horrible sinus stuff going on. I've woke up with it, and it's just not really fun, and it kind of sounds awful. So I am sorry about that. All right, we're going to add Oh Christmas Tree. And what I did, just come over here. This is the text. You just click text, and then you click where you want to type, and you're ready to go. And then you just type what you want. Okay, we're going to pick a font. We're going to go over here to our font picker. My computer's really slow. And we can just play around with it. Just find one that you like. Again, like I said in the first video, I am a font lover, and so I have so many that it's hard for me to choose what to use. It's a good problem, but it's also a really bad problem because I could spend hours trying to figure out what I want it to look like instead of just picking one and going with it. Okay, I think I like this. That was actually pretty quick. I can zoom in and see what it looks like. I don't think it's a super smooth font, but that's okay. And then we can go up here. First of all, what we want to do is click it and make it into a compound path. We're going to make it where it's all one piece and it's ready to go. And then up here, we're going to also change the outline to black, and then we're going to fill it with black, and that is basically it. If you wanted to cut this with a vinyl cutter, you just go from here. You've just made yourself a file, so you just cut it out. Work with the vinyl however you want to. If you want to print it off and burn it for an Ikonart reusable stencil, then it's perfect for that. Just make sure that if you're going to do that, you're going to What you want to do is group all of it and just click and drag from the top down, right click and just group it together. So then now it's all one piece. And so what we want to do is right click again and we're going to flip it horizontally. That way, if you want to print it, if you can print long, my printer is just the 8.5 by 11. But if you have one that prints a little bit longer, you can print the whole thing with no problem. If you need to, you can cut this and do pieces. Just print it out and then piece it back together to make your stencil, if that makes any sense. I know if you guys are familiar with working with the files or the burning the stencils for Ikonart, then you know what I'm talking about. Excuse me. Um, but what you would do is just work with it from there. But if you want to save this, just go up and save. Now I have Silhouette Studio Business Edition, so I would go to File and Save As, and this gives me the opportunity to save this as an SVG. If you have just the regular edition, then it's not going to let you export as an SVG. It is worth it for the business edition to get that, uh, to be able to have that SVG, where you can use it. I can't speak. I'm not a speaker. But anyway, I hope that these videos have made a little sense. And if you have any questions, just let us know. And it's you can message me, or Vaughn is great for helping. So I hope you guys have a good evening and enjoy playing with your Ikonart with the new file. And thanks.